Hello, everyone. Welcome to another online discussion for our subject Foundation of Special and Inclusive Education. So, today we will be discussing and focusing on our lesson 2.3, which is Classroom Management in Special and Inclusive Education. So, we are done talking about how to make school inclusive. We're also done discussing some components or important components of special and inclusive education. So, that is why for today's discussion, we will be focusing on understanding classroom management in special and inclusive education, especially understanding how can we as future teachers be able to create effective learning environment for all, because that is also one of the things or a very crucial thing that a teacher na skill must have on how can we be able to manage our classroom well, especially in catering the differences of different learners. Of course, our discussion will not be complete without you understanding what are expected of you to be able to do after we discussed this lesson. So that is why we have three learning outcomes which will be flashed on your screen right now. So without further ado, let's start our discussion in remembering what kind of classroom do you have when you were elementary or even high school, because it's important for us to be able to understand the history or the evolution of classroom management before and as of the moment. So let us start our recalling with with remembering what kind of classroom do we have during 19th and 20th century, because if you're going to go back to when you were elementary, perhaps you may also have the same experience as me. If I'm going to tell you that teachers before often spoon feed the information, meaning they will really make sure that you really get the idea, the knowledge that they want you to be able to understand. And siguro in terms of the focus sa curriculum or in terms of the teaching, they are really focused on mastering the 3 R's. Now, sa maning 3 R's. So you have their writing, reading, and arithmetic or counting. Because, diba, if you go back when we were elementary, which is different, diba, nowadays, because before, if di ka kaya mabasa, then probably you will not be able to be promoted to a more higher grade level. Am I right? Or perhaps if you do not know how to write or to even count, yeah. So mo nang dili ka makapasar, dili ka maka-proceed sa grade as another grade level. So na ang focus before in terms of the classroom focus or instruction. And aside from the mastering of 3 R's na mga skills, you're also focused on disciplining the child. That is why during this time 19th and 20th century, teachers viewed as having bag of tricks for discipline. Talk about bags of tricks, meaning daghan sila bit-bit nga baon sa saon pagdisiplina sa bata. Mao na nga, if you remember, we've experienced being thrown chalk or nalabayan og chalk, nalabayan og eraser, nabanalan og stick, right? Sa palain nagipa-squat with libro, 'di ba? Sa hand. So that is just some of the tricks that they do usually for disciplining, because again during this time, aside from mastering the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, they also is focused on instilling the child to be obedient and be compliant. So mo na siya na during this time, in terms of classroom management, it's more of teacher directed, meaning si teacher ang masunod sa classroom. Meaning, as a student, you do not have the right to talk to your teachers, no? Or perhaps if you have any idea to share to your teacher, you are not allowed to do that, because again, classroom before is teacher directed. And in terms of the interaction between teacher and student, it is more of a passive, no? So, in terms also of learning, um, Mato siya na si teacher always ang mag-provide sa information, and then si student will just receive passively the information. So that is what is the kind of classroom before during the 19th and 20th century. Now let's go to what kind of classroom do we have today. So there has been some shift in terms of the practices and the way teacher manage the classroom before and as of the moment or nowadays. Because nowadays, there has been some shift from one-way interaction to shared responsibility. So if before teacher directed, all of the things is being um, done by the teacher, or perhaps all of the information is being provided by the teacher, or in terms of the interaction, tanan kung sa ganahan ng teacher mo ay matuman for. But nowadays, every student is being taught that they also has the responsibility in maintaining classroom order. Marbag they have this role, no, big role in making sure that classroom is well maintained or managed. So kana siya usa na siya kadako nga changes or shift sa kind of classroom that we have before and today. So aside from that, from blind obedience to fostering self-discipline. So if again, 'di ba, as what I have said a while ago na before the classroom, aside from making sure that we master the 3 R's, they also is trying to instill sense of discipline sa mga child. But the way that they do disciplining is more on teaching them through authoritative ways. Meaning, kana bang in a hard way, 'di ba? But nowadays, we cannot be able to do that na. That is why um, classroom management nowadays is more on fostering self-discipline. Murabag, we are trying to understand, or we're trying to practice na dapat we must be able to instill, or dapat atong matrain atong mga students that they must be also able to reflect on themselves on how to discipline themselves. So muna siyang self-discipline. Kay ang pagdisiplina, is not effective if ang other tao lang ang magsigig ka ng do something for you to be able to change your ways, to discipline yourself. But you also have to think na sa discipline must also come within you. So kana siya, mo na siya yung murag usa ka thing na ganahan ma-change before and today. So mo nang they are trying to foster self-discipline. Now, in terms of the goal in today's classrooms, so if before again they focus on 3 R's, obedience and compliance, the goal today is to produce innovative, creative, effective communicators. So mo na siya nga in terms of the ways of teaching, na we are trying to empower our student to be a communicator. So if before one directed lang, one way interaction, today we are trying to embrace that students must participate in the lesson. Okay? So, mano siya. And in terms of the disciplining, they are more humane and comprehensive. Okay, so unsa man ang humane and comprehensive. So again, if before the kind of discipline is in a hard way that you're going to experience being patted or nabunalan or kanang being thrown something, 'di ba, luniton, kusniton. So karon more you mean and comprehensive. So you mean because perhaps teachers are afraid of the law, katong atong next na discuss na mga laws, no, regarding sa rights of a child, especially sa kanang for possible abuse. So mo na nga karon more you mean siya because probably teachers may just kanang padako na lang ang mata, isig na lang ang mata, tapos mahadlok ba or perhaps tuolon, 'di ba? Para ma-minimize ang mga destructive behaviors na possible buhaton sa bata during discussion. And another thing that is very different in terms of the classroom interaction or management before and today is that today we are moving beyond stereotypes of helplessness for students with special needs, meaning that we are trying to embody that, or we are trying to empower our student despite of their disability, perhaps despite of their special need, na marabag ato silang tagaan o chance to prove themselves that they can learn on their own. Because mao man jud na ang dapat natong na mindset, na dapat ang ato ang mindset is we must let them an ano bang marag atong dapat itudlo sa ilahan na they can do things on their own or they can learn things on their own, no? Even if without the help of other people para ma-foster ang ilahang independence, 'di ba? Kanang murag dili sila magsalig sa ubang tao to do things just because they have this kind of exceptionality. Okay, so muna na siya ang usa ka dako pod na shift from the classroom before and today. So that's it, class, no? So I hope na that discussion about the evolution of classroom management in the 19th and 20th century and the 21st century has given you a clear image of the differences between the practices before and today in terms of how they manage the classroom. So now, remember that, or we have this quotation na change is the only constant in this world, no? And perhaps that is very true because what is happening today is not really permanent. It is um, bound for changes. So since you are the future, no, you are a future teacher. So what kind of changes kaha ang inyong ma-implement inside your classroom para makaingon ta nga this is the new normal na pod in managing the classroom. But before ka maka-implement anang mga changes na imong ganahan inside the classroom, you must be able to understand that when you talk about classroom management, it is composed of different components or different dimensions or different areas to work on. Because in terms of classroom management, we cannot just manage the classroom well by just focusing on one dimension or area. Mao na nga dapat kay bawat ta unsa man ni nga mga different dimension ang ato ang dapat i-work on para makaingon ta nga we are really managing our classroom properly or well. Okay, so let us start with the first dimension that we're going to talk about today, which is the physical dimension. Now, we talk about the physical dimension. This refers to setting stage for learning. So, okay, from the word physical, it focuses on if unsay mohang makita sa classroom. So the key idea in physical dimension is you must be able to at least have a well-organized space maintains order, which will increase interaction and decrease distraction or unacceptable behavior. So muna siya na if you will be soon teachers, you must be able to kanang design your classroom nga dapat um, well-organized ang mga things nga naa dira, especially if unsay, 'di ba, with due consideration kanang nasa ubos sa classroom size, shape, furniture, and wall space. Okay? And then, of course, when designing, dapat dili lang siya well organized ang mga things, but also in terms of kanang pag-design, it should maintain order. Order in such a way nga dapat ang pagka-arrange gani sa classroom will increase the interaction and will decrease the distraction because mama ni ang main goal sa physical dimension for you to design a classroom that maximize interaction and minimize distraction. Okay? So, that is why if you have observed sa tuang klase that I have implemented the what we call pair pod sitting arrangement because I believe that if I'm going to implement that sitting arrangement, it will help in maximizing interaction. Kasi since na may katapad, there's no need for you to manilingan o another seat para mangita og partner, right? Mo na siya nga every time we have the activity think, pair, and share, it's easy for us to implement again, to implement that um, activity because kuan na siya na naman kay katapad built in, right? And then it also decreases distraction because since dili man siya parehas sa usual arrangement sa to ang kanang mga classrooms, no, there's a VSU Isabel na tapad-tapad halos tanan ng mga students na wherein if ang usa magtabi matakdan ang tanan nga mga katapad, no? And then pwede po siya maka-distract sa other katapad nga naminaw. So may man nga by pair para at least every corner puwedeng ma-visit ni teacher. So if ever that student is doing something that may disrupt learning, that may distract other students, then puwede ra niyang dali ra niyang maduol. So that is what are the things that we must um, look at or make sure when talking about physical dimension. Now, we also have to make sure na in terms of physical dimension, we must also plan for accessibility and specialized equipment, especially um, if you have students with exceptionalities or students with special needs and additional needs, no? So dapat accessible imo ang classroom in such a way na murag for example, if na kay blind na student mura bag walay daghang butang na puwedeng makabangga sa iyaha or makadisgrasya sa iyaha. So, again, talk about physical dimension, aside from making sure kanang mga space is organized 'no, na nag-maintain og order, murag dapat pud usa pod ka factor nga dapat natong tan-awon for us to be able to design the physical dimension of our classroom well is what kind of students we have inside the classroom, 'di ba? Kay para it's not just all about aesthetic, but it's also safe for our student physically. Now let's proceed to another dimension, which is psychological dimension. So aside from making sure that our physical classroom is well designed, well maintained, na order, organized, we must be able to also consider what kind of classroom environment do we have, 'di ba? Or talaga maka-feel ba kaha yung mga student nga they are safe in sharing their differences inside your classroom. So the atmosphere, no, the climate inside your classroom. Talk about climate, it's not about init ba siya or bugnaw ba siya, but kanang ganing safe ba siya psychologically para sa atong mga students? Because it's a big factor considering na a lot of based on research, no, or based on observations also, a lot of students stop um, attending school. It's because they feel bullied, discriminated inside the classroom. Now, ang sad part pa, kay some of these students do not just receive these bullying and discrimination sa ilahang mga classmates. But sometimes it's also done by teachers. So muna nga, we also have to ensure that the psychological dimension of our classroom is also safe and sound for our student. So unsa man ning atong dapat natan-awon if we're going to talk about psychological dimension. So of course, student factor or peer factors. So as future teachers, we must be able to implement some rules and regulations inside our classroom para ma-minimize if unsa man gani ang mga possible or ang mga dili maayo nga behavior na pwedeng buhaton sa bata because through policies, through rules and regulations na imong ma-implement sa classroom, pwede natong ma-minimize ang kaning mga undesirable na mga behavior na pwedeng mahitabo sa mga atong mga students para ma-avoid nato ang katong mga akong gipangsulti ganina nga mga panghitabo na di na mo-attend sa klase because they are bullied. So aside from student factors and peer factors, dapat ikaw pod as future teacher must have the skill of disposition. You are competent as a teacher and you have this good behavioral and communication skills. Because siguro for me as a learner, dawat ra nako if I am bullied by my peers or by my other classmate. But if si teacher na mismo ang mo bully, then that's a thing that is, 'di ba, like, kuan kay siya, it's a serious matter, okay? So, muna siya nga, as future teachers, so what are the things that you have or ang imuhang mabuhat para sa imong mga students? Like for example, kay namang giuban teachers pod na parang kuan ra po sila balewala, no, na even if they know na there has been some cases inside their classrooms that other students are bullying other students, discriminating other students, physically, doing something to other students, pero you're just turning a blind eye on that one. So it's not a good behavior for a teacher. Okay, so kaya for us to be able to maintain a psychological, a well psychological na kaning murag safe ang classroom so mo na nga si teacher dapat na atong mga different skills. Aside from that, teacher must have emphatic responding, listening, or problem solving. So another thing that we must also look at a psychological dimension is family factor because the behavior of a child is highly influenced, of course, with how they were being thought or on silang behavior inside their homes. So mo na nga dapat as teachers, you must have a good collaboration or rapport sa kaning family sa inyong kaning mga students, no? Because again, remember that education is not just the sole responsibility of a teacher. And it takes a village to educate a child. So mo na nga dapat na ay school-home partnership and providing a good and as good, safe and sound classroom psychologically for our student. So now let's proceed to another dimension which is behavioral dimension. So sa behavioral dimension, if ganina is more on like psychologically, now let's focus on the behavior because daghan kay tag pwedeng ma-encounter ani in the future as future teachers now on how can we be able to manage behaviors for learning? Okay, so the focus of behavioral dimension is managing inappropriate behaviors that disrupt learning. Diba? Challenge na magani sa mga gen ed teachers ang behavior sa mga non-disabled students. How much more or how much more sa mga students with special needs or students with additional needs, 'di ba? So, in terms of behavioral dimension, it's a challenge or complex in special education settings. So, as a teacher, you must be able to address these common problems like first, off-task talking, 'di ba? Mao jud ni number one na problema sulod sa usa ka classroom wherein a lot of students are talking no that is not related to the discussion. Kanang yung buhaton usually sa tuang class na magtabi mo diha bisan og dili siya related sa tuang klase. So that's what we call off-task talking. So as teacher, what are you going to do when your student are doing these disruptive behaviors? Another is non-compliance. Kana bang dili mo comply no sa mga mga sugo or sa mga activities. So, unsa kaya 'tong puwedeng buhatan as a teacher. Another is inattention, kanang wala ang attention sa atong mga students sa ato, 'di ba, kanang siguro they are physically, present but mentally absent. Because although parang, problem na nasa sa child, pero as teachers man God, we must be especially in elementary 'no, since you are elementary, for example, high school 'no, parang crucial nga dapat naa ang attention sa imong mga students sa imuha para because kasi talk about basic education, keep from the word basic. So parang kamo kamo ang maghatag og foundational learning sa mga bata. So dapat ang attention nila is always on you for them to be able to also learn the materials. So aside from that, we also have common problems like bullying, no? So saan man nimo siya pag-address ni mga kini nga problem na serious problem like bullying. So we have mga different strategies that we may be able to implement. So these are just some of the strategies, but there are also a lot of strategies that you may also employ. So first we have creating desirable behavior. So remember that in terms sa behavior sa mga bata, it is highly influenced with the kanang kuan sa kinsa ilahang ginatan-aw na leader inside the classroom. So since ikaw man ang na authority inside the classroom, so you must also be able to change your behavior into a desirable one para maka-influence pod siya sa mga students. No? Another is decreasing undesirable ones. So we talk about decreasing undesirable ones, we can be able to decrease undesirable behaviors by again providing some policies inside the classroom or rules and regulations that students must follow. So another thing na no ako nang mara ako mahatag na tip sa inyo ha in kanang making rules and regulations or policies inside the classroom, include your students in creating the policy. So that if unsa man nga mga policy ang ilahang ma-decidean together with you, so when the time comes that they will try to violate their the rules, then you may say na, "Oy, you are part baya of creating the rules. So why are you kanang kuan man violating your own rules?" So see, so or daghan pa, that is just one of the ways for us to be able to decrease undesirable behaviors. Another is also developing student self-management. So muna ni siya, again, if you're going to go back to the evolution of classroom management, 'di ba? Muna ni siya ang usa ka thing na nice karon sa mga classroom is because we are trying to develop our students self-discipline and self-management nga kada bang dili lang sila kanang magsalig if unsa ipangsulti ni teacher, if isa pangasaba ni teacher, but they themselves has the initiative to manage themselves or to discipline themselves when the time comes that they are doing behaviors that are undesirable. Okay, another dimension is we also have instructional dimension. Now, aside from making sure na those physical, psychological, behavioral no dimensions are met, remember that the main reason why we have classroom is because that is the place for instruction. Okay? So mao na nga dapat as future teachers who will be um, teaching na inside the classroom. So you must be able to understand how or what are the different practices that we may be able to implement inside the classroom, especially if we are um, mag-teach og mga students with additional needs. So let's proceed na lang diretso with the key practices. So, you have to have wise management of instructional time. Now, remember, challenge naman gani sa atong mga students nga non-disabled ang attention, how much more, 'di ba, sa atong mga students nga naay special needs or additional needs. So, mo na siya nga you have to know the attention span of your students para you will be um, guided on managing your instructional time. If pila lang ka time ang imong ihatag or imong kanang kuan as role as a kanang ano ba murag maghatag og lecture discussion. Okay? So another one is familiarity with each student's individualized education plan. So remember na every time we're going to teach some students with exceptionalities or with additional needs, again, there is a need for us to do individualized education plan. So, muna nga, um, in giving instruction to our students if na sila mga previous na IEP na mga documents. So we must familiarize those for us to be guided as to what kind of accommodation and modification, again, mo to no, atong gina-discuss before, na atong ihatag sa usa ka student. So another is careful planning of schedules, transitions, grouping, and lesson plans. So muna siya ang mga different instructional dimension or factors sulod sa instructional dimension that we must understand. Another is procedural dimension. So procedure, no? So dapat ang procedure of mga proceedings inside our classroom should be in order. So muna siyang from chaos to order. So classrooms are often described as either chaotic or orderly because inside the classroom naraman jud na duha ka situation na pwedeng mahitabo. Gubot ba imo ang classroom or peaceful? So muna siya again na for us to be able to have an orderly proceeding, an order interaction inside the classroom, rules and procedures are essential. Okay? So to create order and produce organized, efficient learners. Pero again, you must at least include your students when creating the policies. So you set acceptable limits for classroom events to be realized. So especially if you are kaning teaching students with special needs or teaching students with additional needs, you must be kung makasabot ka if asa ang limits for classroom events kay base na yung mga events na or parts sa instruction nimo nga that is not kanang applicable inside the classroom pero imuhang push, imuhang gi-force nga mahitabo inside the classroom, then probably your classroom will be chaotic. So, na siya mga different factors that we must need to understand under procedural dimension. And lastly, we have organizational dimension. So, from talk about organizational, kuan, 'di ba, ang organization or ang hierarchy of power. So, of course, okay, since we are the teacher, we are the leader inside the classroom. We are the one who is in the authority inside the classroom. So we are viewed inside the classroom as manager and collaborator. So mo na siya in terms of organizational dimension. This is more of a task sa teacher. So that is why a teacher must manage number one, personal interaction. Now, unsa man yung personal interaction? Interaction with other teachers, staff, and parents. No, so muna as teacher, we must have a good relationship to our co-teachers, to the staff in the school, and especially to the parents of our students. Pero dili pod siya kanang relationship hanga masulod nga mahimo kang na imong uyabon imong kaubang teacher or imong uyabon ang parent sa imong student. So that is a big no-no. So talk about good relationship kana bang kanang you have like ikuan a professional relationship na every time na you can collaborate with whatever things na pwede ninyong matabangan to work on para sa student nimo, especially student with exceptionalities. So, aside from that, aside from personal interaction, you have the responsibility to manage work environment by keeping it organized and minimizing distraction. And another, administrative duties and time management. So, as teachers, we are expected na daghan jud katag trabaho inside the classroom. We are not just a teacher, we are not just a planner for instruction, but we also have other ancillary tasks that will be given to us by our heads or by our school principals. Mao na nga you must be able to at least um, manage your time properly, no? You set your priorities well para at least ma-manage lang gihapon nimo if unsa man ang mga different tasks na ihatag sa imuha by your leader. And especially important for SPED teachers, no? So as teachers in Gen Ed, we must be able to collaborate with them, sa mga SPED teachers or sa mga different support staffs that has something to do with SPED para at least guided ta on how can we be able to cater the different needs of our learners because SPED na unit kana siya tong subject is not enough no na makaingon ta nga, "Uy kay bawal ako mo-manage ani mga students with disabilities or students nga naay mga exceptionalities because we are not trained to cater, we are not trained, 'di ba, na kanang well, kanang training jud no in catering the different needs. Ang focus sa SPED is more of a foundational na learning theories or perhaps some practices that you may know regarding catering students with disabilities. Pero mo na nga, since limited naman na nga to ang kaning knowledge, mo nang dapat makipag-partner ta. We should collaborate no with SPED teachers. So that's it class, no? That's the six dimensions of classroom management or the different components, key components of classroom management. So again, to review, we have physical dimension, which focuses on setting stage for learning. Second, we have psychological dimension, which create the classroom climate. Next is behavioral dimension, which is focused on managing behaviors for learning. Another, we have the instructional dimension, which is the heart of special education or in any other types of education. Next is we have procedural dimension, making sure that the proceedings inside the classroom is from chaos to order. And lastly, we have the organizational dimension, wherein we teachers are viewed as manager and collaborator. Now, if we have the different components of classroom management, then we also have different characteristics of classroom settings according to Doyle 1986. So these characteristics um, offers us an understanding on the six features that makes classroom management challenging. So kaning mga characteristics sa classroom setting, murabag we must be able to understand this para at least ma anticipate nato or mahibaw-an nato unsa man daay ang mga challenge sa classroom management. Okay, so number one, we have multidimensionality. Talk about multidimensionality, this refers to teachers performing a vast range of tasks, no? So, murag nakabaw naman, I know that siguro na you already know what I am trying to mean. Nga daghan jud og trabaho si teacher, and not just trabaho but they perform different kinds of tasks. Teacher, mahimong administrator, mahimong secretary, mahimong yayas mga bata, daghan kay siyang trabaho. So mo na siya, usa na siya ka-challenge on how can we manage classroom. Next is simultaneity. Many events happen at once. Di ba mo nang magkabuang nga sa kadaghang trabaho, sa kadaghang events na puwedeng dagha na mo kalit lang og mao'y mahitabo, 'di ba? So mo na nga challenge pod siya sa teacher na on how can we be able to manage our classroom when this type of events would come, 'di ba? Like for example, during the month of like September or October 'no, daghan kayong mahitabo na opening of classes, tapos mahimo na pod siyang buwan ng wika, daghan mo mga programs, so mo na siya, talk about simultaneity. Again, many events happen at once. Next is immediacy. Talk about immediacy, immediate. Ano ba mga incident or mga things, mga panghitabo na would require on the spot decisions, 'di ba? Because whether we like it or not, we cannot really say that teachers are prepared. Ay, pero ano ba mura ang idea nga kuan nga kanang everything is under control by a teacher. So that's what I am kuan pala trying to say. Kino bang under control ang tanan factors ni teacher, because whether we like it or not, there will always be incident that will occur, no, that would require our on the spot decision. Like for example, nay nagsinumbagay diha sa classroom. So that's an incident that would require on the spot decisions. So asa man imong buhaton? Will you just cry? Will you join your student, 'di ba? In the sinumbagay portion, 'di ba? O so mo na siya mga immediacy. Incidents require on the spot decision. Next is unpredictability. Events that can never be fully anticipated. So as you can see, murag kuha na silang tulo, they are just interrelated, no? So, kung talk about lang unpredictability, murag kuan lang siya, events that kada bang wala nato may ma-anticipate na mo kuan mo mobutho. So mo na nga together or with unpredictability, we must understand immediacy, no? Na if inani ang mga mahitabo nga event, so unsa man kaha nga kinds of decision ang imong puwedeng ma-implement. So mo na siya. The next is publicness. So the teacher is always on stage. So mo na nga murag aside na daghan pa tang mga trabaho, no, murag dapat si teacher pod always on the side of the student. Murag dapat makita pod siya always mo ng meaning sa on stage publicness. And lastly, history, past events shape future classroom dynamics. So, ka ng mga changes nga na-implement, 'di ba? Because again, daghan man changes na pwedeng mahitabo. So, mo na nga another challenge po na siya sa classroom management. So these are the different dimensions, rather the different features or characteristics of classroom setting. So first we have multidimensionality, second is simultaneity, third is immediacy, unpredictability, publicness, and history. So now we are done discussing on how to manage our classroom, based on the different characteristics and components. So, of course, one way for us to also design as future teachers a well-managed classroom is also murag na po'y effect ana ang ato philosophy. Na unsa man philosophy, these are the things that we believe sa ato ang self as teacher, what kind of teacher we are, which includes unsa atong pagtuo sa atong mga students, no? So that is what we call teaching philosophy. So remember that it's important that we know our teaching philosophy because it reflects to our practices inside the classroom, because this is supported by a theory, or yeah, which we call the Pygmalion effects, which means kaning Pygmalion effect neurocentral murag iyahang bote pasabot is that we must be able to have a high expectation towards other people, because these high expectations would lead them to perform better. Okay? So mana siya na when applying to personal philosophy, your beliefs about students create a self-fulfilling prophecy in their performance. 'Di ba? Kaya for example, if you set high expectation sa inyong mga students, not not really that high nga kanang beyond na pod sa capabilities sa imong mga students, kana bang high expectation nga kuan ra pod siya, kanang kaya ra pod sa mga students na ma-meet. Okay? Because if you have that expectation to your students, then they will also try their best to meet your expectation, which will lead to a better performance sa sulod sa school. So that is what I am doing sa inyo, ha, na since I have this kind of expectation, for example, sa akong mga BE Ed students na you can be able to do no those tasks within the time frame. So even if dili kayo siya taas ang time in terms of preparation, but since I know that you can do it in that kind of koan, that kind of time or deadline that I have set, then 'di ba, you are also trying your best to also do your kanang task na murag makamit pod siya sa expectation. So because of that, no, your performance will also increase, 'di ba? Or mura pod siya mo better ang performance, 'di ba? Kay if ever man go dili ka mag set or high expectation, low expectation lang. So the student will kuan ra pod kanang pachoy-choy ra pod na sila sa classroom, or pa-relax-relax ra pod na sila. So that is the one of the explanation of how can we develop a personal philosophy, no? Or again, talk about personal philosophy, your belief sa imong mga students. So your philosophy underlies your purpose, how you treat your students, your rules, and your approach to discipline. So mo na siya ang mga or why your philosophy, or why do we have to develop personal philosophy. Now, in terms of developing personal philosophy, we have different types of philosophy, because probably if you have already encountered katong mga different teaching philosophies like progressivism, pragmatism, essentialism, perennialism, behaviorism, constructivism, social reconstructionism, daghan pa na sila nga mga SM-SM, then that will also guide you towards your teaching philosophy, your personal philosophy as a teacher. Now, to gener to do to generalize all of those teaching philosophies, we can divide that into two types of philosophies or kind of management. So we have teacher directed and student directed management. So if you are that kind of teacher, nga teacher-directed you are teacher-directed, so meaning, ang imong focus, you believe that your students are dapat jud mga dapat jud nimo i-train into in terms of maintaining order. Okay, so you have this kind of belief maybe that students learn rules from caring adults, and then perhaps you believe of using rewards and coercive power to your students. No, that is, and when talk about special education, this is often beneficial for students with high incidence disabilities like LD, learning disorder, ASD, or autism spectrum disorder, or ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So, muna siya. So, ang teacher-directed na mga management na type of philosophy works best on that kind of um, mga disabilities. So talk about teacher-directed management. This is rooted in B.F. Skinner behaviorism. If you know B.F. Skinner, the one who the proponent of what we call operant conditioning, di ba? Wherein we give rewards or punishments sa itong mga students. So if you're that kind of teacher, then perhaps you are under teacher-directed management. Now, if you if you are student-directed management or more humanistic, kaya ang ganina, is custodial man. So karon we have humanistic. So ang belief is that behavior is an attempt to meet unmet needs. So probably since you are focusing on learners man no, so tan-aw nimo ay mga pagtuo is that once mag-misbehave ang usa ka bata, probably that is his way or her way to meet their unmet needs. 'Di ba? For example, nganong nagtabi-tabi raman yung mga bata diri awal na klase ka. Kay probably that behavior, that misbehavior is an attempt para maipakita nila sa imuha na kuan dili effective or wala nimo ma-meet ang ilang needs. Okay? So that is why there also is a chi difference in terms of teacher's role because in student directed you are more of a facilitator and modern manager, which is different from teacher directed nga kuan si teacher jud ang source of knowledge, but here sa student directed you are just a facilitator. Now in terms of the philosophies, this is rooted in Piaget, John Piaget, cognitive theory, Lev Vygotsky na social constructivism. We also have Drucker's logical consequences and Glasser choice theory. So, muna siya ang mga different personal philosophy or mga general types of personal philosophy. Now, how can you be able to create your own na philosophy? So, reflect within yourself. So, dira man dyan na magsugod. No? Unsa man imong pagtuo sa education, unsay may pagtuon nimo sa unsa imong belief sa imong mga students, no? So mo nang murag you have to reflect on the sources of your different belief because that is the starting point of creating your own philosophy. So this belief will also be kaning kuan siya this is also affected or can be influenced by your personal experiences, 'di ba? When sa imong schooling or imong formal knowledge. Okay, and then we also have here key principle for a balanced philosophy. So the things na principles na pwedeng murag makahelp sa ato to guide us in balancing our philosophy. So number one, use a variety of reinforces and let students choose. So 'di ba? Kay since again we are if we're talking about 21st century classrooms, we are not kung ano man authoritative as teachers. So we should we should give powers in terms of decision sa ato ang mga students, no, para naapod sila choice inside the classroom. No, next is the goal is awareness of responsibility, not just compliance. So, um, as teachers, or perhaps depende again sa mga belief, no, pero mas maayo if you are that kind of teacher who will be teaching in the future nga dapat ang goal dapat sa education is not for just compliance but dapat ma-instill sa itong mga students na naa sila yung sense of responsibility to whatever the things that they are doing inside the classroom. So another is provide warmth and structure. So example, ani are clear rules, routines, and step-by-step process. And lastly, reinforcement because it plays a significant role. Talk about reinforcement kung sa man imuhang buhaton if ever mauni ang buhaton sa imong mga student, 'di ba? Are you going to punish them or are you going to give them rewards? Because very important siya, especially in terms of managing the behavior of your students. So that are those are the things no that may help you in forming your own philosophy. So now, aside from understanding how can we be able to manage our classroom and forming our own philosophy, so we also have here understanding and responding to problem behavior. So now let's focus our attention to understanding different problem behaviors that may occur inside the classroom. So why is it critical? Because poor behavior is linked to poor academic performance, school withdrawal, and future delinquency. So muna nga dapat we teachers must be able to identify the underlying adjustment difficulty for us to be able to plan an effective strategy. Because if dito makaibaw or if we cannot understand the problem, then how can we be able to respond to that problem? 'Di ba? Because dili man ka makahimo og solution sa usa ka problema if wala ka kahibaw if unsay problema. Okay? So muna nga we have here mga different challenges, no? Kuan lang ni sila mga some challenges lang inside the classroom. Although daghan gud siya and very complex, pero we had generalized na lang this one into different challenges, and we also have different strategy to kuan that one to address those challenges. So first we have conduct disorder. So talk about conduct disorder often from dysfunctional interaction. Murabag na ay problema sa behavior sa bata in terms sa iyahang um kanang kinabuhat inside the classroom nga niyang pamatasan. Oo. So muna nga ang strategy is we must have collaborative attitude between home and school because again as what I have said a while ago no sa to ka dimension nga kanang ang pamatasan sa ka estudyante is highly influenced sa balay. So mao na nga para maka-understand ta og unsa may reason ang iyahang conduct disorder, so at least we may ask the parents 'di ba, regarding the attitude or the conduct of this student inside their house or inside their home para makibaw ka on how to cater that kanang conduct disorder of the student. Next is ADHD. So this is a type of exceptionality, no, wherein there has been some difficulty sustaining effort because again talk about ADHD, attention deficit, meaning gamay lang ang attention. Tapos ang ADHD is hyperactivity hyperactivity or hyperactive disorder nga kuan pod hyperactive pod siya. So mo na nga possible na 'to nga mga strategy na puwede natong ma-implement is for katong mga naay attention deficit, we may plan shorter task, no? For us to avoid triggering hyperactivity. Kay ug moabot na pod na kay because man good nga kanang gamay lang ilang attention span, if mawala na lang attention, then dira na po na sila mahimong hyperactive. So as future teachers, so at least um, make your task shorter, no? If you have that kind of student ng mga na ADHD. So next is we have ODD or oppositional defiant disorder. So this is complex and difficult. Kana kaning mo kuan dili maminaw mga non-compliant kumbaga kanang kusog mo sukol og maestra or of teachers. So muna siya nga if na kay nga mga students. So strategy is early behavior therapy and strong family support. So mo na siya ato ang mga pwede nga strategy na pwedeng buhaton. So again, these are just some of the many and complex na mga challenges na to ang pwedeng ma-face sa classroom. Pero again, ako lang na ko no is we must be able to understand the problem really well firsthand para makaibaw pud tayo kung sa ato ang i-implement na mga strategy in mitigating or in solving those challenges or problem. Okay, now we are done with our lesson 2.3. So we are now here in our conclusion. So again, this lesson talks about the special educators challenge and opportunity, or perhaps not just special educators, but you gen ed teachers, no, who will be practicing inclusion, no, inside the classroom. So remember that public awareness and expectations are high towards us teachers. So that is why for us to be able to at least meet this expectation by the public or by the people, we must be able to secure ourselves different knowledge, learning, and perhaps training. Okay, so we are expected to understand and to be able to propose intervention. So because remember, the challenge is difficult, but we have to be firm in our belief that child with special need is capable of learning. So this is what I have been telling you, no? Na dapat ang ato ang belief and our mindset is that even if they have that kind of exceptionality, disability, special need or additional need, we must be able to understand that they are still capable of learning. So I will now leave you with the final quote. It is only a matter of pedagogy that is according to Maria Montessori. And as final message, as special educators, no, so siguro I will consider you na lang din as special educators, not just any normal educators because again, in the future, you will be practicing inclusion inside your classroom. Now remember, again, as future special educators, you can make a difference. Okay, but before we can be able to make a difference, we must at least also change our mindset or ourselves para maka-implement po ta sa difference that we want to make. Okay, so that's it, everyone. So I hope that you learned from our online discussion regarding lesson 2.3 regarding classroom management in special and inclusive education. So whatever, anyways, if you have any questions or anything that you may clarify, you may drop your questions sa of where I am going to post this video, or you may also leave a message ato ang VSU e-learning environment para at least nga to nato ma clarify ang inyong mga questions or ang mga inyong kalibog regarding our discussion today. So again, that's it. Thank you all so much for listening. God bless everyone.